The Spider-Man No Way Home premiere came and went, and with it also a slew of spoilers, leaks and confirmations that many fans have tried to stay away from and others have tried to look into. Much of what I have learned about this film came from Geekosity's editor Mikey Sutton, who has never ever missed and really does have people inside that can give him the information he needs for his scopes on his site. So before we get into spoiler territory, a big shout out to good old Mikey Sutton, who has once again hit the nail on the head with this one. Now, you should also know that this is not a review or a first impression video. This is the full plot of what happens in Spider-Man No Way Home, which means also that it is filled with spoilers. If you don't want to get spoiled, just click away in this very instant. There is a chance also that this might get taken down because, you know, Sony and Disney, they are arseholes just like that, and that is a chance for that. So please share it with as many people as you can. The script is quite simple. Peter Parker's secret identity gets revealed by Mysterio, and it turns his life upside down. While he gets praised as a hero by some, others vilify him as a murderer. This also has repercussions on his loved ones, mainly Zendaya and Ned, who get also rejected for having a relationship with Spider-Man. Because of that, Peter requests the help of fellow Avenger Doctor Strange, but when he's about to cast a spell that would make everyone forget that Peter Parker and Spider-Man are the same person, he messes up with it by requesting of Strange to exclude from the spell his loved ones, mainly Aunt May, Zendaya and Ned. And that creates a rift into the reality and cracks open the multiverse. The gate is open then for the Spider-Man villains from other universes to enter into this reality. So now, after almost 20 years, the Sony Spider-Man universe is in line with the MCU. They are on the same level now. Who would have thought it, right? Spoiler alert, this is such a surprise. Anyway, the villains make their appearance in this new universe and they are trapped into a prison. But of course, one of them is still out and about, and that's none other than Green Goblin, who of course wants to kill Spider-Man. Any Spider-Man, and he's not going to just wait out and miss this one out, of course. No, he's not going to do that. He's getting difficult to be caught, so he talks to MCU's Spider-Man and tells him that if Doctor Strange succeeds in bringing them all back to their respective universes, they are going to die at the hands of their respective Spider-Man. Of course, Peter in the MCU doesn't want that, and he steals the cube that kept the villains in the prison, as well as Doctor Strange's ring, which he then proceeds to give to Ned. In that moment, Ned uses the ring to open up portals to ask for Peter Parker to appear. That of course causes that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man appears, and then when he tries once more, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man now appears. If this is a lazy writing, then I don't know what this, but let me tell you that. First of all, I don't know how Ned can use the ring if it was implied in the Doctor Strange movie that not everyone could use this sort of ring because you needed power, concentration, and also training. But anyways, that's the way things are right now. The Green Goblin fights Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man, and that causes Green Goblin to kill Aunt May. And she utters the phrase, "With great power comes great responsibility," before dying on Peter Parker's hands. Yeah, I guess you didn't see that one coming. Honestly, I was expecting for Zendaya to die, you know? She's just annoying. But I guess it's okay to see Aunt May die in this case. I mean, it gives the character more weight, and it's also part of the myth to have someone that is so close to Peter to die in that case. Anyways, it's not like this is something new. Any good Spider-Man fan could tell you that this is something that has also been explored in what-if stories in the past, and sometimes with various degrees of success and impact as well. So I think that it's okay to have that also take place here. Anyways, the film ends with the Spider-Man succeeding in quote-unquote curing the villains from their ailments, as their powers came from freak accidents, and everyone is sent back to their respective universes, both the villains now reformed and the Spider-Man. The spell makes everyone forget about Peter Parker being Spider-Man, and because of that, not even his friends and girlfriend remember him, though they know, everyone, that there is a Spider-Man in that universe. What happens then is that he ends up being alone because he doesn't want to risk anyone else into his private life, as Spider-Man villains will always come after him, and of course his loved ones. Now, that's the story of this film. But what about all those things that have been speculated about? Mainly if Charlie Cox makes an appearance and if Venom will finally join the MCU. Well, Charlie Cox does appear in the film, and he is Peter Parker's lawyer. And yes, his name is Matt Murdock. But no, he does not have the Daredevil suit, nor does he join any fights. It does seem to be like he says that he has powers because of a little incident that happens there. Somebody throws something at Peter Parker's apartment and he catches it before it hits. So there is this implication, this implied idea that he has powers, but we have not yet seen him inside this as Daredevil. As for Venom, well, he has been sent back to his own universe, but apparently one tiny bit of the symbiote was left behind in the MCU, which would mean it will meet Peter Parker, and in the future Venom will be around to bring even more chaos to his life. Now, as it stands, No Way Home seems to be offering fans everything that they wanted, and which neither the Disney Plus series nor the recent MCU entries did. Even if the Shang-Chi actors are trying to spin it like it's a success because it had a sequel greenlit last week, we all know it really didn't make as much money, and No Way Home does look like the first success for the MCU post-Endgame, and if the fans want to continue fighting for tickets the way that they did in previous weeks, this film is said to be not only the most successful film for the Disney-Sony partnership, but also it might be the first film to reach the $1 billion mark in the pandemic era. That is important as well. Now, as for how the humor is handled and everything, and some things are set into motion, I think that there are some sloppy parts in the writing. Like, for example, Wong setting off to fight the Abomination in the Shang-Chi movie, instead of staying and preventing Doctor Strange from just casting that spell, or the way in which the Spider-Man make their appearance, and the Doc Ock being mocked for his real name and all that, you know. For Sony, it is the opportunity to get a lot of money with very little effort, and placing their previous iterations at the same level as one of, if not the most successful franchise in the world. But it's also beneficial for Disney because they get to use their most popular character, and considering the current state of their other productions, it is the only one which stands a chance at making fans feel excited one more time for the MCU. If it is successful, and I bet it will be, it will mean upcoming projects like Doctor Strange Part 2 or even the Thor Disgrace by getting swapped for Jane Foster, that they can stand a chance and also rake in lots of money for the MCU. As for the story, I think that it is decent, even though it has its lazy moments that I have already commented upon, but, you know, sometimes it's also trying to be too epic and it feels cramped, crowded, it's too convoluted at times, but, you know, it has its moments. Yes, there is still the Stark shadow there. I mean, there is this notion that Electro can be saved by using one of Stark's inventions that we already know, like the reactor, the arc reactor. But at least the character of Spider-Man now has its own legs to stand on. It needed nothing else but that, and I think that this is part of the initiation for that thing. I think that going forward, and that's what I can only hope, the next entries in the series will be better written and as far away from the Stark shadow as possible, giving Spider-Man his own identity. I mean, in this film, I feel like Peter is finally his own person, both as Spider-Man and as Peter Parker. His loss, which is also a trait in the comics, is in this case huge, because he has lost not only the friends that he had made before and the girlfriend that he loved, but he has also lost his aunt. That meant everything to him. And the humor might be sometimes uncomfortable and unnecessary, because it's always like that in the MCU films, but those moments of drama and pain and darkness are a good leverage to counter that. This is indeed the Spider-Man darkest hour that we had been waiting for since, I think, Homecoming or something like that, and it points to becoming even better in the future. If the MCU can do what they did here, they still have a chance of saving this phase 4 and upcoming phases. You know, because of the lackluster reception of things like the Eternals and Black Widow. However, if they decide to continue the way of their pathetic Disney Plus series, or their lecturing and pandering of the very same Black Widow or the Eternals, well, you know, then we can only expect them to crash and burn. For characters and stories with some level of quality, such as No Way Home, it would be a shame, but for the rest of the lot, good riddance. Anyway, that is only my opinion. Let me know yours down below in the comments, and tell me if you are still waiting to see Spider-Man No Way Home, if you are still excited about it, you don't want to know about it, you don't care about it, or if you think that it's going to be successful or not. Let me know everything that you think about this film down below in the comments, and until next time everyone, peace out.